Years ago, tossing your plastics and even unused clothing in the trash was the norm. This created huge amounts of landfill for poorer countries who were trying all they could to process it in the most horrendous of conditions. Today, caring for the environment and helping workers to have more rights is at the forefront of all our minds. Companies are making it their mission to create a better world for all of us, and ESG is one way of doing it. But what is ESG? What companies are using ESG practices? And can ESG be used fraudulently? In today's video, we will be taking a look at what is ESG and can ESG practices be used fraudulently? Hello and welcome to another KYC Lookup video where we bring you AML related content to help you enhance your knowledge in the fight against money laundering. Before diving into today's video, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. Oh, and don't forget to leave us a comment with any suggested topics you would like us to cover in the future. So, on to today's video. What is ESG? ESG, which stands for Environmental, Social and Governance, refers to the set of standards that investors use to evaluate a company's sustainability and societal impact. The term ESG has gained significant popularity in the recent years, as more investors are prioritising socially responsible investing. The 3 pillars of ESG. As just mentioned, ESG stands for Environment, Social and Governance. Each one in their own right is important to the way we live. Let's take a look at each one more closely. Environmental. This includes factors related to a company's impact on the environment, such as greenhouse gas emissions, energy efficiency, waste management, water use, and biodiversity. Social. This includes factors related to a company's impact on people, such as labour practices, human rights, product safety, customer satisfaction, and community engagement. And governance. This includes factors related to a company's internal management and oversight, such as board diversity, executive compensation, shareholder rights, and anti-corruption measures. How is ESG used? ESG investing is a growing trend, with more and more investors incorporating ESG considerations into their decision-making processes. This is driven by a growing awareness of the impact that companies have on the environment and society, as well as an increasing recognition that good ESG practices can lead to better financial performance over the long term. There are many different approaches to ESG investing. Some investors focus on positive screening, where they seek out companies with strong ESG records, while others use negative screening, where they avoid companies with poor ESG records. Some investors also engage directly with companies to encourage them to improve their ESG performance. Can companies use ESG fraudulently? Companies could potentially use ESG fraudulently if they make false or exaggerated claims about their ESG practices or use misleading information to misrepresent their ESG performance. Such practices are commonly referred to as greenwashing or impact washing. To prevent this, investors and stakeholders need to thoroughly research and evaluate a company's ESG practices and look for independent verification of their claims. Regulatory bodies are also taking steps to combat greenwashing and enforce greater transparency in ESG reporting. The Social Capital founder, Chamath Palihapitiya, has been very critical of companies claiming they use ESG methods. He stated back in 2020 that, while certain elements of the movement have been helpful, such as companies taking a sharper look at their governing practices, it does not necessarily encourage best practices, nor does it move the ball forward on things like the climate crisis. In some cases, it can be used as a marketing ploy and a way for companies to get free money. If you paint yourself an ESG in Europe, you can essentially borrow money from the ECB at negative rates. I think what we need to do is invest in actual companies that can go and count and can legitimise the actual impact that companies have, so that you can do the right amount of carbon offsets, and then you have a legitimate exchange where you can actually trade them. Palihapitiya does make a very good point, as there have been many companies who claim to follow ESG practices, when in actual fact they have been found out to have very unethical practices. An ESG scandal. Deutsche Bank was accused of ignoring environmental, social and governance ESG risks in its lending practices, particularly in its financing of the oil and gas industry. In June 2020, a report by Share Action, a responsible investment charity, criticised Deutsche Bank for being the largest European bank lender to the fossil fuel industry, despite its commitment to sustainable finance. The bank responded by stating that it was committed to a sustainable future and that it was taking steps to reduce its exposure to fossil fuels. However, in November 2020, Deutsche Bank was fined $583 million by the US and UK authorities for failing to implement adequate anti-money laundering controls. The bank's senior management was criticised for not taking ESG risks seriously enough. This scandal highlights the importance of considering ESG risks in investment and lending decisions, and the potential consequences of neglecting these risks. Another company caught up in ESG scandal was Volkswagen. One of the most famous environmental ESG scandals to date was the Volkswagen emissions scandal in September 2015, dubbed Dieselgate. The scandal involved the Volkswagen Group, VW, being exposed by the US Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, for installing illegal emissions manipulation devices to its vehicles to cheat emissions tests. This scandal was conducted undetected for many years. To find out more about this scandal and about greenwashing, check out our What is Greenwashing video, where we will take you on a more in-depth look at what it is. Companies who use ESG. As previously mentioned, being environmentally friendly is a growing trend, not only for us in society, but for major companies. Here is a list of companies who have set themselves on the ESG path. Apple Inc. The tech giant has committed to reducing its carbon footprint, increasing its use in renewable energy, and improving worker conditions in its supply chain. Tesla Inc. The electric vehicle company is focused on reducing carbon emissions and increasing the use of sustainable energy. Patagonia. The outdoor clothing brand is known for its environmentally conscious policies and commitment to sustainability, including using recycled materials in its products. Unilever. The global consumer goods company has committed to reducing its environmental impact, improving social conditions for workers, and sourcing sustainable ingredients. Nike Inc. The sportswear company has implemented sustainable practices in its supply chain, including using recycled materials in its products and reducing waste. Danone. The food and beverage company has committed to sustainability and social responsibility, with a focus on reducing its carbon footprint and promoting healthy eating habits. Procter & Gamble. The consumer goods company has committed to reducing its environmental impact, improving its product packaging, and promoting diversity and inclusion in the workplace. And Nestlé. The food and beverage company has a focus on sustainability and responsible sourcing of its ingredients, as well as promoting diversity and inclusion in the workforce. As you can see, a wide range of companies are committing themselves to becoming more sustainable and environmentally friendly. So my question to you would be, do you believe this is their true intention? Or are they jumping on the ever-evolving bandwagon to create huge profits for themselves? Well, there you have it. What is ESG? And can ESG practices be used fraudulently? Please let us know in the comments section what you think about ESG practices and if we can all do more to be ESG compliant. We have now launched our very own courses for you to take a more in-depth look at a variety of subjects, such as Introduction to AML, Beneficial Ownership, and Customer Risk Rating, for example. So make sure you visit our website for further details and let us help you connect the dots in KYC. Thank you for watching the video, and if you made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe to watch more amazing videos.